Hi.
Yeah, like seriously, we started. Like, don't be too short.
Lovely at all.
Welcome to another exciting edition of
Trend.
Trend. Actually, like yesterday, we had the special edition, and we kind of missed you. The
Yes, we
special
do.
edition with our guests. We're talking about the fathers, and we missed you, kind of. I didn't think I would, but I did.
But hey, what's the show without liar in it?
You know,
Oh,
Come on.
okay.
what
Don't
is
get
she
too
without lying in
swollen.
trouble?
I
Anyway,
know.
how are you doing?
I'm doing great.
Roti, how are you doing?
I'm doing good, thank God.
What are we talking about today, Roti?
Today we are talking about the violation of females, which is quite a serious topic.
Hmm. Yeah, so violating females.
So before we start, we want to thank all our viewers, our listeners, our sharers, our haters. I know we don't have any, but I just like to say it. It sounds nice. Anyway,
Makes you
thanks
you.
for thanks for always following us, for always sharing our videos, and for always giving us the heads up. Because without you, there can be no us. Thank
That's
you.
right.
All right. So, like we're saying, like I was reading on the internet that it is estimated that 1 in 5 women and 4% of men have experienced some type of sexual abuse in their lifetime. And that's like 1 in every 5 female has experienced, and that is including children. Now we have children from the ages of 2, couple of months, 3 years old, and older women being sexually violated. And
Even
it's becoming
babies.
so rampant. We really don't know why this is. First of all, let's even start. Why do we have that in the first place?
So there's so many reasons why I think women and girls are being abused. I think for me, and one of them is culture, in the sense that some men have grown up in abusive homes and they've watched their fathers beat their moms and they've carried on, they're beating their wives, their sons have watched them beat their mothers. So it's a vicious circle. They think that's the way of life. Another one is in some part of the world is it's their culture for them to suppress their women, so they use that to abuse her and think, yeah, I'm the boss. And of course, power. Some men have the mentality that because I'm a man, I have the right to do whatever I want to do and nobody can question me. And then they use that to abuse women and girls. So there's so many reasons, but those two are the ones that really stick out to me as a sore thumb.
I said the issue of power is one I want to agree with strongly, because power, it could be power, the physical power, just because you have power over them, and another one, it could be power because you want to. I want to believe most times they don't just rape a girl or a woman for just the fun of having sex with her, especially back home in Africa. Sometimes I want to believe it has to do with rituals, ritualistic demand for money making, and that translates to power in some sense. And that is the reason why, if not, I don't know what kind of sexual pleasure a man would want to have with a 2-month-old child. I really don't know. So if not for power, power for money, power for physical, I can beat you, the woman, up, and I can take what belongs to you. So I can take your child and I can use that child for whatever I want. And I want money to empower me to be able to do what I want in society. And most times they are not good stuff. I think I agree with you.
Demonic.
Right.
Well,
So
to me personally, when I agree with the cultural thing, but the one culture that I think we didn't mention is if we know very well, and I'm talking about Nigeria now, in the northern part of of Nigeria, they marry their girls out very early. So they marry them out like from age 10, 11. So that's an abuse of them as well. How would you, because if you know that most of the girls from the northern part they always have pelvic issues. They have a lot of pelvic issues only because they're marrying them out very, very, they marry
early.
them out like, in the young age. which is kind of an abuse as well. I know it might be their culture, but it's something that needs to stop now. This is the millennium now. We need to, I mean, this is 2020. We need to stop all those cultural things. And another thing as well is when people rape people as well, rape ladies, I mean, it's not just, some of them is just to show the girls. Maybe in campuses, we've seen a lot of story from campuses where boys will come and, you know, like want to be with you or want you to be theirs. And once you say no, then they're like, okay, no problem. Before you know it, they gang rape the girl. It might be 3 or 4 of them on the poor girl gang raping her only because she said no to you. I mean, you know, and to your advances. And another one thing that I know about it is mental health, because any person, any older person, just like you said, power is just a mental health issue. For you to rape a 3-year-old, for you to rape a baby, a 6-month-old baby, for you to rape, I mean, it's happening here. If you say ritual back home in Nigeria, they do here. There's a lot of men who was raped babies, who was raped their nieces, who was raped their wives, you know, their step children in ages of 2 years old. So there's no money making from that. It's just because they're not right upset, they're not right in the senses at all. There's something wrong with them.
But I don't want to believe, for most cases, especially the cases in Africa, I don't want to believe it. I don't want to just give them that excuse, that benefit of excusing them on the grounds of mental health. I don't want to put it down to mental health, especially for those offenses, rape offenses in Nigeria. Because one time in Africa, so to speak, not just Nigeria, one time, I don't know if you remember, it was the issue of using ladies' knickers to do rituals. Yeah. So that time it was what was in vogue. Now is the common thing now is to rape. So there must be something about the private area of a woman that has some ritualistic profits. So I want to believe they are in their right senses. They know what they are doing, and all the purpose is money, nothing else, or power, just so to suppress the lady that, oh, I have power over you. I want you for me, and you say no to me. How dare you say no to me, especially when they are like big boys, when they have money, or when they are like in uni, when they are like the cults boys, they have power. So they suppress all those ladies that will say no to them, and they use them to get pleasure, some sort of pleasure that they have arrived. So I don't want to put it down to mental health at all. For some reason, I don't want to give them that benefit of doubt in people in Africa. But here, because money most times is not an issue for some here, because the government provides for people that don't have. Well, I just want to think it could be more of wickedness. Some would just say it's mental health. It's more wickedness than it is mental health. That is just my take, the reason why people do that in this part of the world.
It's a mixture of things, to be honest. So, I mean, every one of them is linked one way or another.
Right. It could be, but it's just because of the way I'm feeling now. You know, the incidents I heard, the one that they said the woman was sleeping with her daughter in a room. You know, she had a phone beside her. She had the 3-month-old daughter beside her. And somebody came in the night, took this daughter and took her mobile phone as well. And they took the baby to an uncompleted building somewhere around where she lives. And they raped and molested this child, you know, a child, a 3-month-old baby. At the end of the day, they said all the intestines, everything was like destroyed. And
where are we talking about? Are we talking about
Nigeria? Nigeria. So, and what happened was that at the end of the day, when they found the woman, when the woman woke up and did not see her baby by her side and her phone, so she raised an alarm, and people went about looking for the child, and they found this child in the uncompleted building with all the intestine, everything destroyed. So they had to take the child to the hospital. And the bad part, this story really broke my heart, that she didn't have money to pay for medical care. She had to sell a mattress, which apparently is the most valuable thing in her room. Oh God. She had to sell mattress to take care of a child that, no, I don't want to talk about it.
Okay.
It's demonic here, to be honest.
Emotional. It's really, really emotional, and I understand where you're coming from. And all I want to say for in that situation is that I am honestly telling you, if those guys were normal human being, no normal human being, a proper man, a God-fearing man would do that to a baby.
Yeah,
Tell me what's
demonic.
attractive. Tell me what's attractive in that baby that you want to, that you just want to sleep with that baby. And I'm telling you, me personally, I don't even think it's money, because they're not going to get anything out of that baby anyway. That baby's not going to produce any sperm. Nothing's going to come out of that baby. It's just mere wickedness. It's mental health issues. If they're in the right senses, they won't be doing that. That's the honest truth. If they're doing that to a 16-year-old that have got boobs, that have got, you know, all the part that they need to touch and things, or romance, I would think, okay, yes. But for a 3-month-old baby, come on. They're not
demonic.
Yes. It's very, very demonic. They're not in the senses as well.
Okay, I'm just thinking. Oh, Lai, do you want to tell us any story? What do you want to talk? Let me just give me some time to recover.
Oh, I know how you feel, to be honest. As a woman, when you hear stories about a girl child, a young child, a baby girl, a woman, it really touches you, because you know, you think really, really deep into it. It's like this young lady's story. When I read about it, I just went on social media and began to ask questions. So her name is Toyin Salau, and she lives in Florida. She found refuge in the church. I'm not sure about her family background, but it appears this girl has been abused from a long time, from a young age, and you know, I don't know if she was homeless. Well, she must have been homeless. Part of her found refuge in the church. And I think she was somewhere or going somewhere, and she met somebody, and the person was meant to take her to go to the church to pick her bags up. And within that time, Toyin went on social media. She's a Black Lives Matter activist. So, you know, she's on the front line with other people, you know, fighting against discrimination or racism for, you know, for the Black people. And so this guy took her up, picked her up, and was meant to take her to the church, but she went on Twitter. This was on the 6th of June, and she began to write down things. She began to write her ordeal of how she was being abused. And at some point, she stopped writing, and she went missing from that 6th of June, and they found her body a week later. So when I read this, I just flipped. I'm thinking, if this girl took refuge in church for whatever reason, where are all the women around? Maybe in their church or even in her family. There must be a woman somewhere. Somebody could have helped her to prevent this from happening. You know, this is a young girl. Well, as in, not stop her from being abused, but maybe somebody could have stepped in and it wouldn't have gone into the stage that she got killed, if you know what I mean. You know, and apparently the guy somebody has been arrested. I'll get the guy's name for you, actually, if I can see it. I wrote it down somewhere. I can't find the guy's name, but apparently the girl has really been through a lot. And one of her friends said the only time she has seen her that happy was when she was protesting for the Black Lives Matters. That before that, you know, she seems to be a very sad person with a happy soul. But she's been through a lot, you know. And so I was thinking, okay, where's this girl's mother? Where's her auntie? Where are the so-called aunties, Nigerian aunties that we all know here and there? Yeah, that even if she was being abused and nobody was able to stop it, how about her death? For her to be going to the church to want to pick her belongings, again, that was red flags for me. If you're going to find refuge in church, why are you going to pick yourself away from the church? What happened?
Maybe the person that offered to give her a ride or whatever, offered to give her a place to stay, and she got deceived, and he's taking her wherever to do whatever.
The person actually claimed he was a Christian as well, but now they're not sure if the person who picked her up is the same person who murdered her. So it's currently under investigation as it is, but these are just the short, the little, what do you call it, facts that I know about the young lady, you know. So she's from Tallahassee in Florida. I mean, I was just really a 19-year-old girl. She hasn't started her life.
Well,
So
the
all
thing
this
is,
happened where? Sorry.
In America.
Oh.
well, the thing, to be honest with you, Layo, is that the girl might have, with their 17, 18-year-old girl here in the UK, whose parents are back home in Nigeria. They all came to study. You know, they paid for everything, accommodation. They have no family around, not even an auntie or an uncle, nobody at all. And they're schooling here in Manchester. I know quite a few of them. Yeah. So, and all they do is they find a church where they can at least call a place where they need things and they can have people to pray with them. Toyin's case might be the same. We never know. So I don't want us to assume about anything. She herself might be, you know, a child maybe sent abroad to come and, you know, study or do things. And this young girl somehow, you can't vouch for them all the way long. I'm not saying that why I'm mentioning that. I mean, that the person who raped her or does it should have done, which is very, very unfair and will be punished anyway by the grace of God. But what I'm trying to say is that by now we've not heard anything at all about family matters or anybody to own up to say she's our child, you know, or anything, which is quite funny, to be honest.
Well, the only thing I read now is that her brother was putting up a GoFundMe account to raise some funds to bury her. So I was thinking, so where was the brother before all of this happened?
Exactly.
You don't know what kind of life.
I'm not throwing fingers or blaming anybody, but I'm looking at it from the Nigerian eye. There must be one auntie or one uncle somewhere who knew about this girl and could have stepped in to help her one way or another.
Now, you know, most people are helpless themselves. You never can tell what the auntie is going through herself, or she may not even know where this girl is. And that COVID period, a lot of people were suffering a lot of things. You know, there was lack of money and lack of security. People were afraid to go out and do things. So many things could have gone wrong, to be honest.
It's just sad. It's really depressing, to be honest, you know.
But my question is, when you said this girl has been abused before, you know.
Yeah. Like I said, I've not got the full gist because the story about her online is still very limited. But the person who knows her said she has been through a lot. She has been abused for quite a long time. And so we don't know if this is abuse in the family or abuse from the church where she sought refuge, abuse from where, because again, what she wrote on Twitter was the man who picked her up claims to be a Christian. He was a Ghanaian guy. This guy assaulted her again in the car. So I don't know if it's the same, I don't know if it's the same person who killed her. The guy who was picked up for her murder is called Aaron Glee. He's 49 years old. So obviously the guy what they're trying to determine now is to conclude on is it the same guy who assaulted her that she posted all the information on Twitter, or are they two different people?
Wow.
So the story is still quite sketchy, but I'm really I'm following it quite carefully, to be honest. I'm quite interested to know what happened.
Rob, did you have anything to say?
Yes, I also have a very sad story of a young girl called Huala Vera Omozua, who apparently I think is between the ages of 18 and 19, who was murdered. She passed away in the church on the 5th of June. Apparently, according to the story, Vera used to go to church. She's a choir in the church, and the church is just about 10, 15 minutes or maximum of 20 minutes away from home.
So is that the one in Nigeria? Yeah?
Yes, in Nigeria, in Benin City. Vera is somebody, Uella is somebody known to the church. She's a choir, like I said, in the church. She goes to the church every night to read, to study. She's a student of the University of Benin. So this unfaithful night, she went to read. I mean, they have a security officer there, which is still baffling. I don't know how the gateman didn't know what happened. She went to the church that unfaithful night to study. And obviously, I mean, when the story came out, I'm sure she was brutally beaten. She was, battered. She was, I mean, they gave her all kind of marks. Apparently what happened that night was she was raped by 3 men in church while she was studying, according to the story. And the former, I mean, obviously when that girl was screaming, just like Lyle rightly said, when that girl was screaming, obviously she wants to survive. Why she was screaming and everything, did nobody hear her scream? Obviously there's houses around there. Did nobody hear, did nobody hear Vera scream at all? That's one question. Where was the security man when all this happened? Anyway, she was still a little bit conscious and alive when her brother and her sister came to rush her down to the hospital. And, you know, and they took her there. The first hospital they went to, obviously, you know what the situation is. There was nothing there they could help her with. So they had to take her to a teaching hospital where she eventually passed away. 3 weeks after, the story came out that actually Uwela was pregnant for the pastor. And every night when she says to her parent that she's going there to study, she's always going there to meet the pastor. On that unfaithful night when she went on the 5th of June, where she was murdered, or where she was brutally and badly beaten and raped, it was because she got a phone call from the pastor to meet her up there, to give her money and to tell her to go and terminate the pregnancy. Unfortunately, when she got there, nobody paid, the pastor didn't appear. So that was the reason why I said, where was the security guy? Obviously, maybe he too has legged it. He didn't want to stay to witnesses or anything, or maybe he was part of the people who raped. I mean, apparently 3 men raped her. It wasn't nice at all. So the case is still
first of all, how would they know that there were 3 men if nobody witnessed this incident? So how would they know there were 3 men?
I think it was when they caught, the story came out when they caught the guys.
Okay.
So that was when they said it was 3 of them.
Oh, they've caught the guys.
They caught the guys. It was the guys who were saying that it was a pastor who gave them 1.5 million naira to go and kill the girl. So so they just thought, okay, we better just have our own fun before
they're gonna kill her.
Because they heated her with a fire extinguisher on her head. But as God will have it, she didn't die. Maybe in the process of her screaming and shouting and they've already done what they want to do, they just thought, you know what, it's better we run away now before people start coming. So it was when they caught, I think they caught 1 or 2 of them. They were the one that were, they were saying this story to say, yes, they were sent by the pastor and they were paid 1.5 million naira to go and kill this girl.
Well, first of all, if it's true, is a pastor or anybody that is responsible, yes. Certainly somebody is responsible for it. What can be the best punishment for that person? I don't even think going to jail for a few years will solve it for me, because they will go for a few years, but she will be sentenced to this pain for the rest of her life. So I don't think, even if they are sentenced to life imprisonment, that does not take the pain away from this girl.
Yeah, you know, I watched quite a few documentaries, and one I was watching is in America is called Live or Die. So there's basically criminals on death row. And I listened to the families of the victims after, because death row, they don't just murder you in 6 months. It could be on there for 25 years. And then all of a sudden they pick the person up. And so I was listening to the victims, or the family of the victims, even after 10, 20 years, they're still very hurt, because the way their loved one was killed is really brutal. So I'm thinking, this is why people are in support of the death row. And some people are like, look, you can't life for life, does not bring back the pain. But I'm thinking, look at this girl's story now. If there was the option of a death row in Nigeria, do you think that the family will not ask for that in this kind of case? Because they didn't think about that girl. They were just, oh no, that's just wicked.
You know, the nasty thing about this thing is, and the annoying thing and the heartbreaking thing about this thing is, I have sat on a jury before, and the worst thing is that the set of the jury are 12 people in this country, and the case we had was a rape case as well. And you know that if the 12 of us do not agree that person is guilty, that person will go scot-free.
Yeah.
That is the most annoying thing. That's the most heartbreaking thing. That
so it takes one person to disagree, and then
that's okay. So you can see that sometimes the
Justice.
barrister or the justice or anything, sometimes it can be very unfair sometimes. It's only God Almighty that can punish such people.
But
And
do you
what?
know, even that is heartbreaking for me. God forgive me, because God can end up forgiving that individual, and that individual can end up becoming a pastor, becoming a president, becoming somebody of honor in this society.
Oh, yeah.
And then I, the parent of the child, will be watching you shine and live your life happily just because you have said, I am sorry.
It's like the case of that girl who, she was 16 when she went to prison for killing a guy. Her name is Santonia Brown in America. And now the girl is an adult. She was granted clemency by the state governor, and she was released. And it was based on the fact that this girl was 16, she was a child, but they tried her as an adult. They didn't look at as far back as her life history, that had been raped and been molested, you know, all of these things. And she killed somebody in self-defense because she thought the guy was gonna kill her. And so she had to grow through all of that in prison, and she came out a better person. She knew God. Would you say because she has changed that we should still lock her up? So it's just very, I don't know, man.
Just like you rightly said, and just like what Paula said, which I quite agree about, is I was listening to a talk show just about 2 weeks ago, and this girl was saying she's a victim of rape, and she came out, but you know, her face covered, and she was saying that she feels sorry for whoever's parents and all those victims that have been raped. She said because she is a victim herself. She said, and the nasty and the very heartbreaking thing was that her mom got raped when she gave birth to her, and somebody else raped her again, and she's giving back to another person. But the annoying thing about it is that she said right now, she said she doesn't want to mention. That's why her name, you know, I mean, that's why they couldn't mention her name, because her father is one of the prominent people in Nigeria who is giving out laws. You can imagine that. And then they were asking her, have you forgiven your father? She said, yes. And the woman said, please, don't mention. She said, no, I won't even, she said, no matter what you tell me, I'm not even going to mention my father's name because he's in very, very high authority. And I don't want to mention him. I don't want anything to do with him. I don't want to ever see him, but I've forgiven him. Look at how somebody, you are there, you're talking, even when people are talking about rape, you'll be there saying, yes, let them kill them. And you yourself have done something wrong to somebody. She said because of that, she and her mother don't see eye to eye because her mother doesn't like her, because she just think, well, you know, you remind me of your father.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's
But you see, the problem now is in Nigeria, they need to really change the laws, because the laws is obviously not affecting all these foolish rapists. And for the laws to be changed, it means it should not be, they shouldn't cherry pick who the law should suit. The law should be for everybody. Pastor, imam, head of government, anybody. So long as you violate a woman and she said no, you're going down. Pretty much simple.
But you and I know that will never happen in Nigeria.
But that's what the point I was trying to draw, because they're not making a scapegoat out of the people from the very top. So anybody, even little people in the corner of the street that have not eaten for 10 days can get away with murder. It's wrong.
You see that girl in question Rossi just talked about, even if she mentions the dad's name, unfortunately, she'll get into more trouble. If the man is that influential in Nigeria, she'll just find herself in more trouble, and before you know, you'll find her dead one day, and nobody will do anything about it, especially if her mother is not rich enough to pursue. Even if she's rich, if the man is richer and more influential, nothing will happen. Just like the story of D'banj. Have you heard that story?
Oh, yes. In fact, I'm just waiting because I don't even know which direction to go on that one, to be honest.
Yeah, but let's assume it's true. I'm not saying it's true. Let's assume it's true. To be honest, that girl cannot fight D'banj. If he has all those people at his payroll, it's just for him to give them money and everybody will fight for him. That's how it is in Nigeria. Yeah. And it's just so sad.
But that's terrible, to be honest.
The girl, anyway, D'banj is suing the girl for a lot of money. It's just a very, very cheeky guy. After he has taken the mom, after he arrested the mom and the poor girl, God knows where he arrested them to. Maybe he arrested them to a bush and said, look, you better go and change that story. It was after the arrest, the girl came back and tweeted and said, I've moved on with my life. I don't want to say anything again. I'm forgetting the story. And then that's when he now came up and said he's going to sue her. Sue her for what?
But
so he's taking the lead.
That's the problem. You see, for me, when a victim comes out and says she has been raped or been molested, people should stop asking foolish questions like, is it true? Why did you take it so long? What were you wearing? Because those are the things that drag the case and they sweep it under the carpet. It's disgusting.
Yeah.
Even, the one that really, really makes my blood boil is the so-called foolish women that open their stupid, stinking mouth. Say, what was she wearing? And you are the one. Those stupid women. I want to slap all of them because women are supposed, if you can't protect each other and cover our girls, then what is our purpose on this planet? I'm really angry.
All right, that reminds me of my song. Don't touch. It's my body. You got no right. It's not yours.
I'm angry.
Honestly, if the woman chooses to wear whatever she chooses to wear, I'm not saying wear those kind of provocative things. If she wears it, how is that your business to go and violate her?
That's a whole different story.
Because I really don't understand why they want to put the blame on that. I mean, because you're wearing it. Are you the only one that have seen her on the streets? What about every other person that saw her on the street?
Baby that is in diapers.
Aha. So what has she exposed that make you want to go and rape her? Or what about some old women, some elderly people, maybe they're just in their houses?
My cousin on Facebook, was saying that these men need to be castrated and maybe that will deter people. And I was like, no, but what's the point? But to be honest, maybe they need to start chopping them off. Maybe that will make a bit of difference, honestly. They need to take strict rules. But the thing is, if they're taking strict rules to chop off people's willies because they're misbehaving, they have to start from the top. But that's where the problem lies. You have these, shake guys, the top guys who are covering up and don't want all these things to blow up in people's faces. So the law is,
what do you think as ladies, what can we do to help ourselves, to stop, so that we don't become victims of these crazy people, to be honest? Because we have to think of preventing it now, because once it happens, once you mention it, you are in trouble. You don't mention it, you are in trouble. You get traumatized for the rest of your life. So the best thing is to prevent it. And how do we do that as ladies, as women? How?
There's so many things. Like this show, for example, is one of them, because we're raising awareness. It starts from the home. Mothers should educate their daughters. From the time their daughter is 2, you educate her on her body parts. You educate her on her personal space. It should be taught in school. It should be taught in churches. It should be taught in mosques. Women need to be educated, period. Women need to be taught that if your husband, who is the child's father, molests your child, go and report him.
Some people, is their father that molests them.
Which way they should not. Women need to be taught, educated that you covering up because you are feeling ashamed or feeling afraid is not the way forward, because you're just as bad as the man who that violated the girl. So it's a lot of education. It needs to be serious, not just small. They need to be running adverts on TV, on every social media, especially the ones where Nigerians and Africans go to watch. They need to run this ad. Like, in this country, they run the ads on cigarettes that it will kill you and people are still going to buy it. It needs to be running ads like that so that people know that it's not a joke anymore.
And they should really have record where they keep this information about people that have been rapists. So that when they want to get important posts in life, you check their record. If you've been a rapist, you shouldn't be allowed to get such important posts. You can't rape somebody 20 years ago and tomorrow you want to become president without any repentance. I don't think
sex offender registers for them.
Yeah, but we don't have that in Nigeria, do we?
We don't have that. I think one thing, because you've said this awareness, education, it's not the utmost. The utmost is for them to go and learn karate. And I'm being honest with you, because it's not all the time that you're being raped in your own home. It may be you going to school. It may be your mom sending you on errand. The best thing is for every child to learn how to fight karate. At least if you can, before you can kick somebody, or know the part where you can give a man the elbow on the groin part, and then you can leg it. At least before you can do that, before they can grab you on the neck, you'll be shouting and somebody will come for your aid. Or if you're helpless, you don't know anything, even despite the awareness that we are talking now and education, the best thing for every young girl is for them to go and learn how to fight karate. It's a very, very good thing. It really, really supports a girl. I will support my child to go and learn it. I will even want to learn it myself. You know, it's just for my own self-awareness. It's just for my own precautions when I see people coming, and then be aware of your surroundings as well. Some girls will just talk, they'll be going around with earpiece, you know, and you don't know anything going on, and you're listening to music, you're dancing from, I mean, before, some girls are even clothed with long sleeve jeans and everything, but because they're not aware of the surrounding, they've got all the earpiece in the ears, and they're walking around in a lonely wood, or even walking around in the corner because, you know, they're going to corner on an errand or going to their friend's house, and they're already gone with the music. They're already far gone, so they don't know what's going on. So number one, be aware of your surrounding. Not every time you have to put your earpiece on. Number two, please, parents, young girls, let's learn how to fight karate. Number three, know the very, very part you can hit a man before he gets you, and that's your groin area. Hit them so hard, no pity. Hit it so hard that by the time he's shouting for help, and if there's two of them, by the time you hit one will be like, what's up, you'll be able to run. By the time you are running, make sure you have the loudest voice to scream on top of your voice, so that
in addition to that, yeah, to be honest, because sometimes rape are done by family members, people closest to you,
people you trust.
I would say, especially when somebody says, let's go and visit my boyfriend, or you are going to see your boyfriend, he's having a party, but you don't know that he sets you up for a gang raping. So I would say, if you're going out to your girlfriends or to your boyfriends, wherever you're going, even to church. My big mom used to do that when we were growing up. She would take the address of the place you're going, the name of the person, their father's name, their blood type, everything, every information you have about that person. You would drop that information at home before you are allowed to go and see that person, just so they know where to. And she will agree that if I don't see you in 2 hours, I will start looking for you. You understand? So you agree with your children that I'll call you in the next 30 minutes to find out where you are. If I don't see you every 30 minutes, I'll speak with you. If I don't speak with you, I'm coming to this house. You need to. So we need to put things like that in place, so that when our young ones are going out, some are just innocently going to visit their friends or family members, and they never return home because somebody has raped and killed them. So we should talk more, like you said, communicate with our children. Let them be free to open up to us wherever they are going. Don't be going to Sokoto and you tell your parents you're in Abuja. So because they'll be looking for you in Abuja when you are somewhere very far. What other things can we put in place, Layo?
To be honest, raising awareness for me is key. Raising awareness in so many ways, running ads, doing role plays. That's the big one, because yes, you could teach girls to defend themselves, but how about the babies who have no idea? How about the 6-year-old girl who can defend herself? What the information you can give that 6-year-old girl is, when anyone touches you, that's a violation. You scream, you cry, you run,
and you tell
somebody, yeah. So that's the only way she can defend herself, because she can't literally carry a bottle to smash the guy's head. So there's a variety of things that they need to start to do right now in Nigeria. All these women organizations, all these female celebrities need to get on board, because this is worse than the pandemic, to be honest, because it's destroying girls' lives. These are the future women who will marry some woman's son. And then she starts to act crazy in the house, and you think, why? But you don't understand where she's come from. So we need to really put hands on deck, every woman, to be honest. Man, I don't know.
I understand what you're saying, but you know the one that breaks my heart the most, is when, oh God help us, poverty is bad. It's when the mother, for some people, the mother is aware that the child is being abused,
but they don't say anything because of what they are chopping.
Oh Jesus Christ! They won't talk. They'll be. I saw a movie. This boy was sleeping with the girl, and the girl was saying, "Mommy, your brother is doing this to me." But because the brother is the breadwinner, they promised to take her to university, and the mother kept quiet until this guy ruined this girl's life. That's what. Why would you sell your child for money?
Yes.
This food that you eat today, that you will forget tomorrow. Tomorrow you'll be hungry again, because they can never feed you for life. So you sell your daughter's destiny and a life, a future, for a few coins, just because you want that money at that time. I don't know how we can help women like that, because most times they know. Like this preacher, what's her name? Oh, this lady in America.
Juanita Bynum.
No.
Oprah Winfrey. Oprah.
Oh, what's her name? Oh, why can I forget
Joyce
her name?
Meyer.
Yeah,
Joyce Meyer.
Joyce Meyer. The mother knew that the father was abusing her,
But
but
she
she
didn't
was
say
too
anything.
frightened. Huh?
Yeah.
She was too frightened to say. And do you know how God, our whole story is even unique. At the end of the day, she forgave them and she even built a house for them. I'm just asking myself, is it possible that I will forgive anybody that would rape me or my child? I don't know if I will be able to forgive them. I'm just saying the truth.
You're talking about forgiveness. That was the end result. Do you know the process before she came out of that?
Yeah. I mean,
you know
that
the
was
destruction. I think she had her first child was from her first marriage. So she had her own issues before she finally got to that stage where she began to see the change she wanted to see. So
and not everybody will turn out better on the other side. Because some people will turn out with mental health issues.
Oh yeah.
And they can't help themselves and they'll just be wasted for the rest of their life.
And the thing is, depending on the rape, any rape at all is traumatic. So it's trauma for those women in the first instance. And some women never recover from it, never. Some women, before you know it, any man passing by is a shock to them. Even if any man is doing any action, is a shock to them. So for some women, for the rest of their life, is trauma. For some women, they seek the face of God, and they just, God just melts and washes it away, and they're out of it. For some women, they've seen psychotherapists, they've seen psychologists, they've seen counselors, and yes, they're still the same. Some women end up in mental home, which that's the
some
end
end
of
up being lesbians because they don't trust a man.
And some end up being very, very promiscuous because that's just
that's what they know.
Their life, and that's what they know. And I'm sure you saw the video that went viral about 2 weeks ago about this young girl who was in a home and she was running away from one home to the other home, and she's been abused all her life from age 5.
I saw that. Yeah, is it for an American girl?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
They saw people she called her own parents, people that adopted her. They molested her, and then she was running from one place. And then after a while, she just thought, you know what? What's the point? I better just run away. And the word she used was that, well, I have nothing to do, but I sell my vagina for a living.
Yeah, I saw that video.
Now she's about maybe 18 or so now, and that's what she said she's doing. Then the person that
that's what she knows.
Well, yeah, that's what she knows. And the person that she's living with now is even worse because he's into drugs. So she's trying to get her life away from the drugs, get her life away from prostitution, get her life from all this that has been happening to her. Is it easy? The answer is a capital no.
Yeah.
It will take a lot on that girl before she's moved totally out of where she's found herself, because she's in a deep pit. She doesn't even know she's in a very, very dark tunnel right now. She's not even seen half of the way of the life. Doesn't even know what to do. So, and there are plenty girls like that there in Africa where their mouths are sealed, where mommy and dad say, you never say anything, just shut your mouth. And there are even some that don't even know the person that came to rape them. I've watched a movie where the person who came to rape the woman was a thief, was an armed robber who came, and eventually she got pregnant for the person. It was later in future, when they were in a gathering and they were just talking, and the guy just spotted her, and there was this mark that the guy has somewhere around his chin, and the girl knows it, and she saw the mark, and she just moved herself from that place, and her friends followed her and said, what happened? She said nothing. Eventually she told them, and they said, oh, let's go and kill him. She said, no, let's go and report to the police. And that was the beginning of the trouble. What did you do there? What did you go and do in his house? And she was, no, I didn't go to his house. He came to my house to steal when my parents were alive and everything. And it just became a whole nonsense, because that's another issue. You go and report a case for a policeman in Africa, and the question they're asking you,
they turn it around on you.
And the end of the day, some of them want to even have their share of it.
Yeah.
Can you imagine
of your body?
The share of what? Are we sharing mango or what? I mean, you can imagine the nonsense women go through sometimes. It's so heartbreaking, honestly. It's so heartbreaking.
On this note, we have to close because it's just getting at me. You want to talk more? Do you have anything you want to add? Yeah, like you can go ahead and talk.
Mothers, educate your daughters. Girls, find information, talk if you're being harassed. Talk to somebody about it. And yeah.
Rothy?
Yes, I mean, just like we've said, awareness, let's educate our young girls, and please, parents, listen to our children when they come to us for help, when they try to speak to us concerning all these things. Please don't push them away. Don't tell them to keep quiet. Don't tell them it's no, your uncle is nice. Please, let's help them. Let's support them.
Yeah.
I pray that God Almighty will help all the victims of rape. And I pray that very soon all these people will be brought to book and God Himself Almighty will punish them.
For me, I'll just say every girl should assume that every man you see on the street could be a rapist.
Yeah.
I mean, have this subconscious that this man could rape me. So be at alert every time of your life. Do not say, no, it's my uncle's uncle, it's my uncle's friend, or it's somebody's friend.
Yeah.
That somebody's friend could be derailed somehow. You don't know what they are thinking about you. They're looking at you. Just assume, be prepared. Like Rothy said, learn some karate. Like Laya said, if your mom has educated you from when you were 2, at least you have that consciousness that every man or any man could become a rapist. So you be prepared, be at alert. And please do not lie when somebody has not raped you.
Yeah.
Please do not lie when somebody has not raped you. Because
That's
to be honest, that is another thing on its own. But if somebody does rape you, speak out. And if the law would not act, God in heaven will surely act for you, I tell you. Please try to be sure that you did not agree to go and then you agree to have sex and midway you got upset, maybe because they didn't give you enough money, and then you turn the story around to say they raped me. No, please don't do that. Don't do that. Please. That's my advice. And let us all be prayerful and be careful and spread this awareness to people. I mean, that's all I can say for now. Yeah. Any other thing, Lyle?
No, that's it. Stay clean. Continue to wash your hands. Yeah. Enjoy the quarantine.
Coronavirus. It's still around, very much around.
Oh, honestly, when I see some people, I'm thinking, did they miss the memo?
Somehow people have forgotten it. We just want to live our life again. We just want to live life.
Because that's the way human beings have been created. You can adapt to situations and conform and just carry on like normal.
Yeah.
So
I think we'll be fine. So
it's
been nice having you girls again on Trends.
We should do a TikTok together.
Huh?
A TikTok.
It'll be nice.
Laya, I'm going to share your TikTok dance.
That's fine.
Laya was dancing.
No, I think it's true, Fola. We need to do a TikTok. It'll be nice.
Maybe I'll put a clip on this one. All right then. Thank you very much, girls. Nice talking to you today.
Yeah, you too. Have a great week. Love you both.
Bye.
Bye. Love you too. Bye-bye.
I'm going to drink Gary.
With what? With Ekpa?
No, I'm not hungry. I just need some cold. I just need a different taste in my mouth. I don't want to have a drink. So I want that Gary water.
You're still being recorded with your Gary thing. Gary girl.
I think this guy is talking about, not something else. We should give her the credit.
Oh, wow. What does that mean? I don't talk about anything bad. Anyone who